A group of friends. One picks a movie the others haven't seen. And then they talk about it and stuff. This is Blind Find.
Hey everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Blind Finds. Tonight I showed Alec and Wiz a film, and that film was The Fugitive, the classic 1993 movie by Andrew Davis based on the 1960s TV show. And we're going to be talking about it tonight, and it should be a good time.
I came home, there was a man in my house. He had an artificial arm.
Are you saying that I killed my wife? Are you saying that I crushed her skull and that I shot her?
Okay, so just real quickly, can one of you give me a brief synopsis of The Fugitive?
A man with one arm kills Harrison Ford's wife, like a cue ball, smashes her head in. So Harrison Ford gets, they say he killed her, he gets the blame, then...
he's not the one to blame.
He's on a quest
He's on a quest. He gets captured, he escapes, narrowly escapes, getting hit by a train.
Basically, Tommy Lee Jones is chasing him, and he's trying to prove that he's innocent.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically it.
Classic story.
Yeah.
So let's just get... What did you guys know about this movie leading into it? You said you might have seen like bits and pieces of it.
I might have broken the unwritten rule of Blind Finds. I might have seen...
You might have broken the one rule of Blind Finds.
No, I've definitely seen the train scene before. There was a YouTube video that broke down the train scene. Bless you, Jesus Christ. Some tissues there. But yeah, I might have seen the train scene before. There was a video, I think, that broke down the train scene, how it's an effective use of action and pacing.
Right.
It might have been like Rocket Jump Film School, or
probably
Now You See It, or one of those awesome channels. Shout out, give us a shout out too. But I definitely saw a breakdown of that, and I'm pretty sure I've seen bits and pieces of this maybe playing on TV before. I definitely think I've seen the
It's
ending.
very much a TV movie.
Yeah.
It's just like everything about this movie. I've grown up watching The Fugitive.
Blow his nose, so he's not sniffing cocaine all the time. You ever blow your nose and then remember that your whole family's dead and you'll never see them again?
And then you're like,
Do you ever blow your nose and then remember that your nose isn't the problem, it's your chronic brain cancer? I grew up on The Fugitive. I've seen this movie quite a few times. I really like this movie. It's such a it's got kind of a contrasting thing where it's a chill movie to just watch because you can hang out and watch The Fugitive, but it's also
very tense.
It's a thriller. It's things happen in the movie, and
paced really well. Really good at like a lot of
2 hours 10 minutes.
Yeah, I wasn't really bored at all after the movie.
Yeah, and it's like it's very well paced, and it's shot pretty standardly, but it's nothing too flashy, and allows for the actual action in the script to kind of push through. Speaking of the script, this movie started shooting before the script was finished, and this movie was actually a lot of it was improv, actually. So what did you guys think about I don't know, just like the cast and the acting, like, because I have a question that will kind of lead into that.
I mean, I always think of Harrison Ford as like Han Solo because it's really mainly what I associate him with. So it was nice to see him in like a completely different role, almost like an opposite role of what he usually plays, or at least.
I almost think this is like one of his like top 3 performances.
Yeah.
Like the scene where they're first interrogating him, and he's like, "Are you assuming that I killed my wife?" And he's like choking up. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, I thought actors did great, especially for an action film. And yeah, Harrison Ford, I don't know if I really associate him with just Star Wars, but I associate him with like that rugged.
Yeah.
And he still kind of plays that in this.
He does, but he does have a nice. This is probably one of the best acting.
It's a little more emotional.
I've seen from him up until Crystal Skull. Amazing. acting.
Masterpiece.
But yeah, I do really like the performances in this. Tommy Lee Jones is great. He plays a great antagonist, though not the whole film he's the antagonist, but he's not just evil. He's
not an. It's
he's
more.
cunning,
bad guy.
and they're both really cunning and smart and motivated people, and you're kind of rooting for both.
And this
honestly.
movie has really. It's not a comedy. It's not a comedy per se, but it has sparklings of comedy throughout. Like whenever Tommy Lee Jones just fucking kills the dude, and the wife is like screaming, he's like, "Shut up!"
Yeah.
And it's really funny, and he plays a really good like deadpan, straight kind of thing that I really like, which leads me into another thing. This movie won one Oscar in 1993, or technically 1994. What did it win an Oscar for? It won one Oscar.
Can we get a hint? Is it super obscure?
No. It's top. It's like one of the like main categories.
Probably wasn't Best Picture. Probably wouldn't say Best Editing. Probably wouldn't say Best
Maybe like
Cinematography.
one of the Best Actors awards.
Yes.
Best Supporting Actor.
Yes.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. He won an Oscar for this movie, and he actually said to the director, like, this isn't, I don't know, I just read an article, and it was like, supposedly before this movie started shooting, he said to the director, "It's not like we're going to win any awards for this movie." And it's so great that he won an Oscar.
He jinxed himself.
So
I remember you mentioning you have some ties to this film.
I do have some ties to this film.
Let's hear those.
I have some personal ties to The Fugitive, okay?
You
Well,
are a
ever
fugitive.
since I killed my girlfriend and I had to break out, no. Okay, so I told you guys, or I mentioned this earlier, I went to the grade school that Celia Ward went to. Celia Ward is the wife that gets murdered, and
Cool.
that's pretty much.
She should have won an Oscar for that.
She should have won an
Great
Oscar.
murder.
She just
I
died.
believe she was dead the entire time.
And she actually was, so it was a good twist.
Yeah.
It's a nice twist, yeah. And
I
then
was mentioning too, this film reminded me of another Harrison Ford film. So like What Lies Beneath,
yeah, the movie from 2000.
which there's like Harrison Ford and his wife go to like a house or fiance,
Yeah, I'm not
and
sure. I
they're
haven't
getting
seen
haunted
it.
by a ghost, and Harrison turns out to be the bad guy. And it's a decent film, but it just reminded me of that, 'cause even though he doesn't turn out to be the bad guy in this, but still
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Okay, so let's move on to another scene in the movie. Great scene. It's one of the first, or not the first, but it's the initial chase. It's the initial hunt, and that is when Harrison Ford is in the water system at the dam. Okay, and he's conflicted. He's like, do I jump or do I get fucking shot by Tommy Lee Jones? Like, I didn't kill my wife. I don't care, you know? And so, okay, so I have another question, and that is, obviously, Harrison Ford wasn't going to fucking jump off of a dam. I mean, he crashed an airplane, but, you know, maybe that's where he draws the line. So, how much, they used 6 dummies for the dam jump, like, thing. And it's actually kind of funny when you watch the movie now. It's just like, oh my god, and he's just like, how much did each dummy cost? Like, give me a price.
I'm gonna say 600.
600.
dollars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna raise the 600, and I'm gonna say 4,000.
4,000. Each dummy was $12,000, and they spent that much money on 6 of them. So,
Wait,
it's kind of
12,000 each.
yeah, 12,000 each.
Half the budget went into the dummies.
Seriously, and the train crash thing, that was real, and it cost $1 million. I'm not making this up.
That's
It was
crazy.
$1 million train crash, and the train is still. They shot that in either North Carolina or Illinois, and the train is still there as like a tourist attraction. And yeah, so what do you guys think the Rotten Tomatoes score is for this movie? Just, you know.
I think I actually saw it,
Did
so
you?
I'll pass on that.
I didn't. 72.
I know it's pretty high,
It's pretty high.
like in the 90s, right?
It is a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is, I mean, to be fair, it's only like 60 some reviews, and the movie
Yeah.
came out in '93. They obviously didn't have Rotten Tomatoes, and
They didn't even have tomatoes, which is pretty crazy.
they didn't.
They just have
Yeah.
potatoes.
GMOs, man.
They would just write on the newspaper.
Yeah.
This movie does have a sequel, so
Really?
Really?
perhaps we could watch that. It's called U.S. Marshals. It has,
Same cast?
well, Tommy Lee Jones returns. He was like, "Fuck, dude, I won an Oscar. I'm doing that shit again." And maybe
Is it good?
It's pretty good. It ain't The Fugitive, but it's good.
So it's like a spin-off. It's only the Tommy
Yeah,
Lee
Tommy
Jones.
Lee Jones is the lead character, and Robert Downey Jr. is actually in that movie. And it's one of his earlier roles.
What are other examples of that? Because I feel like I've heard of stuff
What do you
like
mean,
that
other
happen
examples?
before. Like a sequel that's not really a sequel. It's more like a spin-off. Because I've definitely heard of examples of that.
Spin-off.
Yeah, it's like a spin-off, but it takes place after the.
Yeah, I don't know because
Well, it's like a different character. Yeah.
I remember seeing The Fugitive, and then
Would it be like Quentin Tarantino's body of work? Because he thinks it's like
Yeah.
it's all in the same cinematic universe.
but that's I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that because it's kind of interesting. And I remember seeing U.S. Marshals like a long time ago, and I was like, my grandpa was like, "This is a sequel to that movie, The Fugitive." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's good."
Where does this stand on like your top favorite Harrison Ford films?
Okay. Top 5. So would you purchase this movie? Because I purchased it a little bit ago.
Well, how much you buy it for?
It was like $10.
I feel like I would buy it for like $5 or under. I mean,
Okay.
not that it's bad, but at least right now, cash is tight.
Yeah.
And
It's just-
I feel like there's a lot more movies I'd like to add to my collection before I purchase
Yeah.
The Fugitive.
The thing about this movie is, I don't know, I'm like kind of nostalgic for it, but it,
Plus, you got family ties to it.
I mean, you know, really important ties. I was practically on the movie, and you know, I just feel like it hasn't. I wouldn't say it's aged, but
I think it aged well.
it's aged pretty well. But
Fine Scotch.
some of the things that have aged is like the montage in the beginning where she's like getting murdered, and it looks like a cheesy commercial where it's like,
Yeah.
are you sick
His-
of being
his
murdered?
His acting's really captivating in that though.
Who's?
He's
Oh,
like,
Harrison Ford.
Oh, you gotta
Oh,
find
yeah,
this
when-
man.
Yeah.
We don't believe you, Harrison.
And then I don't know. There are a few like the dummy thing. I don't think that's something that's aged. It's just you can only throw a dummy a certain.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah, it's his kind of like wet lip, but like was about to hit the.
yeah, because he jumps off like this,
But
and
he's
then
like-
like halfway through the shot where he's falling is like
Definitely worth $12,000. Then he hits like the fucking concrete.
it's really yeah. He like skids
stuff
on the
that
like
comes
because
out of his neck.
okay because the dam is like slanted like this, and
Dude,
and he's
yeah,
like
yeah.
here,
Yeah.
and he jumps, he'd fucking die.
What if Tommy Lee Jones just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, he's just like,
Yeah, just-
I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah, like fill in with
Just
blood.
shoot him. Shoot him.
Shoots.
That's the thing is I feel like there isn't much to discuss with this movie.
yeah?
It's just kind of like that's why I was
It's
like,
just like a solid movie.
I was just talking like I was thinking of questions like with Sandy Wexler. It's like but this is just kind of like you either think it's good and you like it or you're like, okay.
It's fun. I definitely.
Like,
I'll say this.
Do you think it's just fine or do you think like oh fuck? Because I'm in between. I'm like.
I think it's like a step above the average action film, though I'm more into stuff like, for instance, once in a while I was getting a little Seven vibe.
Were you bored?
And I feel like I wasn't bored. I wasn't
You weren't
bored,
bored? Okay.
but I definitely like films that are a little. I don't know how to word this. I wouldn't say deeper and like darker, but like stuff like Seven or Zodiac, where it's very.
Yeah.
I don't know the term.
I
It's
feel-
more realistic, I'd say. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I
this
feel
is
like
good. This is I'd watch. I'd put this on. This almost reminds me of like Rambo. I like that. I'm probably
I
about the same.
feel like it feels this movie is tailor fucking made for TV, just like
Oh yeah, yeah.
just at 9 o'clock at night on some
like
random.
Showtime.
Yeah, it's on some.
When I'm like 50 years old and I'm depressed and I have like chronic diabetes, like I would just love to slap this
This
baby
movie-
up
yeah.
like, oh,
because
all I remember my friends back in my day.
I remember watching.
I remember Brian, and then I have a heart attack. I'm like, no!
The last thing you see is Harrison Ford's fictional wife get murdered.
The last thing you see is Harrison Ford's beard
Getting shaved off and then
getting
dies.
shaved off.
He had a very respectable beard.
He looked like a murderer though. He should have shaved. The number one rule when going to court. Number one rule when going to court is shave your beard.
Yeah, he looked more innocent.
Oh yeah, he does not look innocent. I would say he was a murderer. If I just
'Cause
started
you
the
have
movie there,
Yeah, because
he
you
was
have
like,
a beard and you're like masculine and gruffy and you're like
he looked evil.
beat stuff up. But then you shave down like, oh, he's good.
He should have shaved his head.
Yeah.
A tattoo.
Yeah.
Would you?
Okay. In closing, who would you recommend this movie to, and why?
What a good question, Augie.
Perfectly natural question.
I would recommend this film to someone that just wants to watch an enjoyable action film. I'm not gonna say it's not deep, but you can really get the main gist of the story one time through. It's not a film you have to analyze and watch it over again. But it's a fun film. Definitely enjoyable. Harrison Ford gives a good performance. Tommy Lee Jones gives a good performance. Harrison Ford's dummies do an okay performance. But yeah, good film, a lot of good action. So I'd recommend this again to. I think I just went over that. But yeah, good film, good action. I would say most.
Give it like out of a 10 in your opinion.
Solid 7.
Yeah, 7.5.
7.
7.5 on a good day.
Okay, Wiz, who would you recommend this movie to?
And who would you why?
And who would why?
Whoops and why?
Oops, yeah, honestly, same, likewise, it'd be something that you could watch with your friends at night around 8 o'clock for YouTube.
I'd say show it to your wife.
Yeah.
I would say show.
I'd say, look,
this movie
will not happen.
This movie is tailor-made for people over the age of 43.
Yeah.
It's perfect for
yeah.
adults. My parents love it. They're like, oh, it's nice and safe.
Yeah, I feel like my parents would like this.
Yeah, it's good and like.
They're like, I remember Harrison.
I remember when Harrison was...
American Graffiti. Oh.
But like also going off what you said about having to analyze it, like yeah, it's not a movie that you have to watch over and over, but like you can because there are stuff.
Wasn't he the president?
Yeah.
Air Force One.
Yeah, but like you can analyze it. You can go through like, especially with a movie like this because the characters have to make a lot of different decisions, especially Harrison Ford. Like, what do you think is going through his head to make this specific decision to evade the similarly crafty policeman who's
Yeah, and none of the characters are stupid.
There's
yeah.
good,
the only characters that are stupid are all the police officers in the police
Yeah.
station.
I should probably.
The most wanted man alive.
No, he doesn't have a beard. You can't shave him. But I definitely, it's easy to follow. There's clear motives and there's clear actions. There's nothing where I'm like, why would they do that? Why did Tommy Lee Jones do that? Tommy Lee Jones is a clear motive. It's not just that he's a bad guy. He actually.
And you don't even really.
We talked about that. It's almost like Tommy Lee Jones is the main character of this because we were talking about. It almost feels that Harrison Ford doesn't have an arc. It almost feels that Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys this because does Harrison Ford have any flaws in this movie? Like character flaws? Or is he a Mary Sue, as some would say? Because he's smart, he's intelligent, he can get away, he's good looking,
I mean, you could say his flaw is he didn't chase after the bad guy, but I think that's a good thing because he stayed with his wife. So it's almost like a good flaw. But there's not really any flaws.
There aren't any.
But it was still enjoyable. But again, I think Tommy Lee Jones is almost the main character. He actually has an arc. In the beginning, he's like, I don't care if you're not guilty or not. I just want you in prison.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's like,
he was a nice guy.
And then, he almost gave him a handy. He's like, I care about you.
Yeah, and you because there is a piece of this movie that is a mystery and a not detective, but discovery. And you don't even really figure out who the main protagonist is until 3/4 through the movie. And it's Harrison Ford's friend from med school.
You mean antagonist, right?
Did I say?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You don't figure out who the antagonist is until about 3/4 through the movie. And it's really interesting because it sets up... You don't really know a lot of the... You can follow a lot of the medical jargon just because it's basic. You switch the samples. You can tell that's probably a bad thing to do with drugs. And whenever he's like, we have a drug that has no side effects. Okay. And so I feel like him being a Mary Sue is in service of the thrills of discovering who the antagonist is. And
No, that didn't distract me too much.
yeah, no, there's never, I mean, Harrison Ford is charismatic, so I mean, you're never like, oh, this is just shitty.
But that's interesting that you said the sequel is starring Tommy Lee Jones, so maybe Tommy Lee Jones is almost like the main character in this. You can almost look at this film like Tommy Lee Jones is the main character.
You can watch it either way, and it's really good at that. And I know in the sequel, I haven't seen it in such a
They
long
should
time.
call it The Fugitive's Chaser.
The
Something.
The Fugitor. In closing, what's in mayonnaise?
That's like eggs and like oil.
Yeah.
You will find out on the next episode of Flying Fine.